I'm Dakota.
And I'm Dane.
And today we're going to take you through our automatic conveyor system we have here. We're going to take you through the turn-on procedure and our auto and manual procedures.
And if you have any questions about anything, we have procedures here in this automated conveyor system binder here. So it should sit right here on top of the PLC.
First we're going to start off with the power off procedure. First you'll take your power cord and plug in here on the bottom of this fuse box. And then you got to make sure to turn it on. So you just flip this lever. After we plugged in our conveyor system, next we're going to come over to our power box and flip on all our main breakers. Make sure when you're flipping on these breakers that you have a face shield and your hot gloves. If you want a reference for what each one of these breakers does, you'll find it on the inside of our door explaining what each breaker does. So first we're going to come in here and flip on our 1F1, 1P1, and then we're going to flip all these breakers in ascending order. Once you get to the 2F1, you want to flip it on and wait a second, make sure your power supply comes on. And then you can continue flipping all the breakers. After you've done that, we can come to our midway box. And here you'll find our motor starters that will turn on each one of our motors. So you'll flip these on ascending order. Now you've powered up our entire conveyor system.
Now that we've turned on our automated system, I'm going to kind of explain to you how automatic mode works. I'll give an explanation before you turn it on because it's kind of noisy. When we hit F1 here on this face plate, this is going to turn on one motor at a time. As you see, it has a yellow light. It'll continue to have that yellow light and the alarm will go off as each motor turns on and sequentially one by one. All in all, it should take about 20 seconds. At any time you want to stop the automated system, all you got to do is hit F2 on this faceplate. So I'll start here and hit F1 and get this whole thing running. As you see, motor 1 is kind of slow to start, and motor 2, the breaker does occasionally trip on that. All you have to do is restart and turn the breaker back on. Now that we've taken you through the automatic mode of the conveyor system, we're going to take you through the manual mode. To do that, we're going to have to switch this switch up here from automatic mode to manual to switch it over to manual mode. The manual mode operates off of this PLC faceplate and these bits. These numbers right here are the bits, and this indicates whether they're on or off. Each bit right here has a different function to operate these things manually. F1 will make something go forward, F2 will make it go reverse, except for in the case of the can crusher, which F1 just makes it go out. I'll explain that in a minute. But as an example, if we wanted to operate motor 4, we go up to bit 4. All the bits correlate the motor. So bit 1 will be motor 1, bit 2 will be motor 2, bit 3 will be motor 3, bit 4 will be motor 4, so on and so forth. The only ones that those don't follow is that bit 00 is the stepper motor, and that bit 7 is the can crusher. But if we wanted to operate bit 4, which is motor 4, which is this motor up here, we would come over here, we'd hit enter on it, bit 4, it'd switch the blinking display over to this on-off section instead of the bit section. We'd flip that to on, hit enter again to activate it, and then to make it go forward, we'd hit F1 to go forward. And you'd have to hold that, and you hit F2 and hold to go reverse. This works for all the motors, and the only thing that this is different on is, like I said, the can crusher, which is only an F1 press to manually crush the cans. Also with this system, these bits interlock each other, so if any one of these bits is on at the same time as, say, another one of these bits, none of these functions will operate. So if I wanted to make this move forward or reverse, it's not going to do anything because we have two bits on at the same time. So as you see, I'm holding F1. Number 4 is not going forward because we have bit 5 high. So if you want to operate these, you got to make sure you only have one bit on at a time. On at a time. 4 would be a better example. Now that we only have one at a time, as you see, all these are off now. You can now operate bit 4 forward and reverse again.
In addition to our conveyor system, we also have a fully functional pneumatic system which controls our pneumatic ram, which acts as our can crusher. So to operate that, first you have to make sure that our main line is hooked up to the air supply. And then you're going to come over here and make sure that our main supply switch is turned on. This also acts as a lockout if you want to lock out the pneumatic system by turning it off. And you're able to put a lock through this hole, preventing it from turning it on. So once you turn that on, you also have a series of our lubricator and regulator. With our regulator, you can control the PSI by turning this up or down. And then down there, we have our solenoid that controls the air supply going to our pneumatic ram. To operate our pneumatic ram, first you're going to come over here and make sure our switch is turned over to manual mode. And then you're going to come over to our faceplate, and like we explained before, our bit 7 is assigned to our pneumatic ram. So you're going to make sure you turn that on, hit enter, and then to operate it, you're going to hit F1 to crush cans. Alright, this is our pneumatic ram where we crush cans. So now that we showed you how to turn it on and operate it, we'll now demonstrate by crushing a can.